G'day, and thank you for joining me here at Craft with Us Oz. I'm Donna, and today I'm going to be going through how to make this beautiful little gift box, which is a decoration for your Christmas tree. So to start off with, we're going to need some pieces. So this is a little box and 6 little pieces of music to stick on it. We've also got the pieces for a poinsettia. Now I've got a die for the poinsettia. I'll have a link to these things below, and there's also a link to the template for the box. You'll also need just a few other things. This is a little doily that I've cut out from a die. I've also got, rummaging around there, some greenery to put with my poinsettia. These are all going on the top of our little box. So let me see, we'll also need some string, so that will go on the decoration. We'll also need I use some natural string to hang that on the tree. These are a couple of little stamen. Now if you don't have stamen, it's okay. You can just use a little bit of bling inside your poinsettia. Alright, you'll also need some double-sided tape, a little bit of glue, a bone folder if you have one, and a ruler. So I think we're right to get started. So first of all, let's have a look at the box. So if you have a scoring tool, you can in actual fact score it at these positions if you like, but I like to use my ruler and make sure that everything's lined up and perfect. So I take my ruler, as you can see, and line it up, and I slip my fingernail underneath the edge and I just fold it up to make the folds where I need them. This is a really important part because it's this part here that's going to really shape the box. So take your time with it. Make sure you don't miss any of the areas. Check and double check before you fold it up, because it will really affect the final product. We want a nice, crisp, square box. Of course, the better you do it here and the crisper the folds, the easier it will be for the box to be put together as well. So we'll just showing you all of the places. As I mentioned earlier, I will have a link below in the description to the template for this box so you can cut it out. It will also be a link to my blog where you'll be able to print out instructions if you like. Alright, now I'm just going to take my bone folder and I'm going to make all of these folds creased really well, nice and crisp. So reinforcing them, I think, is what I need to say. Okay, so now we're going to put the double-sided tape on all of the small tabs all around it. We're not going to stick it together yet. I'm just preparing everything and making sure that all of this is on. You could use wet glue here, but I like to use a combination of wet glue and double-sided tape. So I didn't make you sit and watch all of that. I've got the double-sided tape on all of the edges, and I just press it all down with my bone folder to really burnish that tape in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the edges of my little bits of paper. So you can see that I'm actually doing this with some distress ink. If you don't have distress ink, you can in actual fact use a little bit of tea or coffee, preferably without milk, and just dip the edges in. You will of course have to wait for the paper to be dry before you can use them, but you can see the difference just doing that little bit of shading around the edge makes. So I'll just go through and do all of that. Once again, I cut a bit of that so you didn't have to watch it all. Just doing the last one here. You don't necessarily have to do that around the edges either if you don't want to. That's just an option. Alright, so now I'm going to put double-sided tape around all of the edges of my paper. So this is a little bit tedious. Once again, I'm not going to make you watch it all. You can use tape runner if that's something that you prefer. I tend to get it all muddled up when I use tape runner, so that's why I like to use the double-sided tape. And once again, I'm burnishing that in really well. This actually makes it easier to remove the backing tape as well as making sure it's nice and solid. So we're just going to take the backing tape off the pieces. Well, that's frustrating, isn't it, watching that? Well, I got it. Okay, so off all 4 sides, I'm going to grab my glue. This is actually Aleene's tacky glue that I've got in there, and I just like it in the small bottle because it gives me the fine point. And I'm just going to put some of that around the edge. Now, when you put that on the double-sided tape, it gives you a little bit of wriggle room when you put it down, and it also gives a more permanent fix. All right, so you can see that I've spun the box around. That's actually going to be the right way up. There's only one that we do upside down, and that's the very last one. So let's do this again. We'll do one more. We'll remove the tape from all around the edges. Make sure everything's nice and neat. Put some of the glue also on the edges and around it to make sure that it's going to be nice and secure, and put it into place. This is the right way up, is what I'm saying on that one there, pointing the right way up. All right, so now I've done all of that, and this one, the last one here, is got to go upside down. And you'll see how all of this goes together in a moment. Whoop, that's crooked. It's okay, because I should be able to pick that up because I did have the wet glue on there as well. And yep, there we go. I can straighten that up. Can't have one crooked. All right, we're going to burnish all of that down again. I want this to be permanent because these decorations are so pretty. I'm going to keep them for a few years. All right, so now we need to poke a hole in the top. So that piece is the top, but I want to make sure it's right in the center. So I've flipped it over to the back, and I'm going to draw a cross on it. Now, I'm not including the little tab that's got the double-sided tape on it. So it's just from that fold at the top to the corner where it's cut. You can see the way that I'm doing that there. And that will give me, you can just see that pencil mark there, that will give me the center. So I'm using my awl or pick tool or pricker or whatever you want to call it, just making the hole, and then I'm actually punching it through really from the front because I want all of that excess going through the back. So this is just a string. Now, this is just jute string that I buy from Officeworks in a box. It's cheap as, it's like 80 meters, happy days, and I use it actually for quite a few things. It's nice and strong, and well, it goes perfect with this project, of course. So I've tied a knot in that, just folded it in half, tied a knot, and I'm just going to push it through that hole. Now, you might have to be a little bit patient here, but that will come through and the knot will stop it from going any further. Now, if you wish, you can put some glue on the inside of that or a piece of tape over the edge of it. I didn't in this case, but of course you can. All right, removing all of the tape from all of the little tabs, we're going to make our box. So once again, I'm going to put a little bit of glue over the tape. Gives me a little bit of you know, like wriggle room, but it also makes it more permanent. I don't know if you've noticed, but if you've ever had something that's a few years old and you've had double-sided tape on, eventually the sticky goes out of the double-sided tape and it falls apart. So that's why I'm using the glue as well. So the double-sided tape is immediate, but the glue is permanent. So having both just helps with the construction of these bits and pieces. All right, so you can see how we're putting that box together. It's shaping up nicely. The top piece I'm leaving right to the end. So I'm doing all of the others, and now I've done the top, and it actually sits in like a normal box. And push it in there. That should be nice and firm, and now just put that aside to dry. So now we're going to put together our little decoration to go on the top. So this poinsettia, as I said, is from a die. I will put a link to that below to my eBay page where I've got that available for sale. And I've just used the two smallest ones in the die. I'm sticking them to a little dot that I cut out. So that little circle I cut out just to give me a little bit more stability and make it easier to stick together. It's not actually part of the die, it's a separate piece that I like to add. Particularly since pretty soon you'll see I'm going to put a hole in it. So I'm joining these together, a little dab of glue, then I'm using the back of the pencil to push it down. You can just use your finger, of course, doesn't matter, whatever you like. Use my finger then. Good show. So because I'm putting stamen in it, I need to put a hole right through the center. Now, if you're just putting bling on it, you don't need to do this part. You would just stick your bling, but I would put 3 little pieces if you can, or maybe 1 larger piece. So I'm pushing the hole through there, and I'm going to grab my stamen. Now, Everything looks better in threes. I'm not exactly sure why, but to the eye, when we're looking at any of our projects, everything, you know, looks better for threes. It's more appealing to our eye. So I've cut those two stamen in half because they're double-ended, and I've just put one piece aside, and I'm just going to have those three little bits, and I'm going to thread it through the middle. So let's do that. So you might have to be patient there. That looked like that popped through nice and easily, but you might have to be a little bit patient there to make sure that it's okay. So there's our little poinsettia. You can see that on the back I've just stuck a piece of double-sided tape, used it as plain sticky tape for the moment and to hold it all in place, and I'm just going to trim off the extra pieces of the stamen. Okay, so now we're going to put it on our, well, we're not going to put it on the box, we're going to put a little arrangement together. So I'm just cutting, it's just over half of the doily. This part is totally up to you. Of course, you can put or do anything that you like on the top of the boxes. If you're getting one of our kits, all of these pieces are in it, so you can make it directly like this. So you can see that I'm just folding up, this is the white thread with some gold on it. It's white and gold string that I was able to get, and I'm just making loops with that. I'm going to grab a piece of normal sticky tape and just stick it around to hold it in place. Because this will be going underneath the poinsettia, no one's actually going to see it. So I'm just laying this out. What I tend to do is lay it out. When I'm happy with it, I'll take a snapshot of it with my camera, with my phone, I beg your pardon. And then I'll pull it apart so I can glue it all together. And I just check the photo to make sure that I've got everything where I wanted it. Inevitably, though, I move things around a little bit. So I'm using a combination of double-sided tape. You can see there I've just removed some double-sided tape, the covering of some double-sided tape, and glue to put all of these pieces into place, all of the ones that I'm using. And I'm going to pop the poinsettia on the top. Okay, take the double-sided tape off the bottom now, the backing of the double-sided tape. Add a little bit of wet glue as well, and put it into place. So those pine needles, that's a die that I got a few years ago from Stampin' Up. I don't believe it's available anymore, but it's a well-used die in my house. All right, so now we're going to attach that to the top, a bit of double-sided tape, quite a bit of double-sided tape. Couple of pieces there. Once again, I'm going to use a combination of double-sided tape and the wet glue to make sure that it's permanent. Here's our glue, and we're going to stick that on top of our box. Which way do I want it? Yep, right there is fine. I like it in the corner. This is just a wink of Stella, so it's a little bit of glitter that I'm putting on the edge. You could just sprinkle a little bit of glitter on it, you know, put some glue and then spray it with hairspray to stop the glitter from coming off. But there you are. We are all done. So this beautiful decoration is lovely and easy to make. I hope that you find some families, some kids, grandkids to make them with and enjoy it. I'd really like to thank you again for taking the time to join me today. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Catch you next time. Bye.